Border czar Tom Homan was asked about, arresting maybe some of these people who are trying to thwart President Trump's agenda illegally. And here's what he said.
So the president signed an executive order just this week threatening to defund sanctuary cities for their policies. Why not just arrest the leaders who are harboring and shielding illegal aliens, actually terrorists, from deportation?
Wait to see what's coming.
Wait till you see what's coming is what he just said.
Yeah.
With the greatest smirk I've ever seen. So I'm like, okay. Ordinarily, look at that smirk. Ordinarily, I'd be like, no, I mean, they're not going to do anything. But with Tom Homan, I don't know, man. I take him pretty seriously.
Exactly 24 hours ago today, I was sitting in front of Secretary Kristi Noem in a conference room where she said something very similar, where you have to read between the lines to remember Tom answers up to Secretary Noem. Mm-hmm. This is Department of Homeland Security, HSI, ICE. There's so much in that statement. Yes, I believe there's a lot coming. They're preparing in the statement from that individual who benefits off of slave labor and etc. He uses things like undocumented, illegal. He's talking about, hiring at lower wages. They know what they're doing. The crisis with judges is a real crisis in our country. I met with Judge Vance Day, who's now at the Department of Justice in D.C., and it's a real concern for the administration because judges have gone rogue. So I think we need to see a little bit of consequence to that question to Tom Homan, and one or two get arrested, and it'll change quickly. I mean,
right.
The cockroaches will scatter.
Speaking of,
I know.
There was a cockroach on my set earlier.
I did that intentionally.
And they told me that was one of, I'm like, oh,
one of the judges?
One of the demons right here.
One of the judges was here in the studio.
All the demons that we're slaying all the time just started to creep up onto my studio. They told me that he was like, they all watched as he started like walking onto my set.
One thing. He says policy, right? Immigration policy is changing. Yeah, policy changed. The law doesn't. We're going back to immigration law. Mm-hmm. You're illegal, you go.
Mm-hmm. Yep. John?
Yeah, the chief executive is trying to enforce the laws that are already on the books. There shouldn't be anything controversial about that. And we talked about this last week, and I really had a great time with it, how the courts have gone rogue, and they don't function as how people are taught about in school. It's like this objective body which monitors everything that's going on and says, you can't do that. Constitution says no, you can do that. It's permitted. They actually just wait until there are victories which would not come about naturally because the people don't want them. Like all of the left's greatest victories in the 20th century were because the court just discovered the rights in the Constitution to things like contraception, abortion, gay marriage in 2015, things that when put to a national vote, people would not have voted for. They would not have voted for representatives to then pass those through the Congress or for presidents. I mean, even Barack Obama in 2012 had to run as a guy who's saying, no, I don't agree with that. I support traditional marriage. And so it's a very convenient system for the left to use the courts to get victories passed through when they can't do it democratically or through, our constitutional republic. But then also when you have a president who not only is just enforcing laws, but who is constitutionally permitted to use the power of the executive branch to do those things, then all of a sudden the court comes and says, actually, no, you're not allowed to do this, and we're going to discover reasons X, Y, Z, Y, and we're going to invoke our power to prevent you from being able to do what people actually elected you to do. So I totally agree. I think the judicial system at the federal level is just completely out of control, and there needs to be things done about it. I mean, I understand that arresting judges is kind of scary, but the more you think about it, I mean, it probably is just one or two, not judges like all of them, but one or two here or there. It could be a good thing, I think.
Yeah, Eric.
Well, that already started happening, did it not? We talked about it last week, right?
2 weeks ago.
Maybe it was a couple of weeks ago where a couple of them had already got arrested because they are absolute crooks. But they don't even, this is what's interesting, especially with the Supreme Courts. And by that, I'm talking about these various like circuits in states, not just the Supreme Court of the United States, how they kind of rely on precedents willy-nilly. Right? Because there's often precedents that will say on various, you can find any case, just pick one, where they've already actually ruled that, let's say the president was able to deport people or whatever, but they have like this sort of flaky reasoning behind, well, now that's no longer true. And this is their last line of defense. They've utterly failed at the congressional level. They failed, obviously, with Donald Trump becoming president. So there has been a complete shift from the general public on a lot of these issues pertaining to immigration. And I don't really even think that it's as black and white as red v. blue, because there's a lot of people that historically have voted for Democrats who they're not on the same page as they are. And I think this is what has divided their base, because they're not as radical on the subject like immigration as they were. They were for the marriage and the gays and all this other stuff, but now they're like, wait a minute, especially once it started to impact a lot of these minority communities, definitely during the times where they were being bussed in like New York City. So a lot of people aren't for this, but I think the status quo, rather the whatever you want to call the Democratic establishment, this is their last ditch effort. They've clearly sent the memo out. Like, if you can find a reason, look for it. If it's not there, make it up. Make it up if you got to, but just stop, or at minimum pause it. Maybe going into the midterms.
I think it's a delay game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's what
It's
I'm
a
saying.
delay game,
Yes,
and
they're
it's
trying
just
to run the
slow them
clock out.
down. If you can't stop them, run the clock, filibuster, or just run the clock out. And they think there is a hope, and this is something I picked up this week in D.C. in 20-something meetings in D.C. They hope that they can get a Hakeem Jeffries to give Mike Johnson a run for his money in the midterms, and there's some crazy support for Hakeem, and so it's a delay game, I think, through the courts. But justice is supposed to be blind.
Well, it's
ideally.
I mean, I think we could tell after the 91 indictments and 34 felony counts that it was not blind at all. And I mean, when you take a step back and remember, I know that we've been talking about this at great lengths, but it's really worth repeating who these people are fighting for. Like, they are literally simping for MS-13 gang members and Tren de Aragua gang members. Like, they are actively trying to bring these people back into our country. And the rap sheet for this Kilmar Abrego Garcia guy just gets worse and worse the more we hear. Now we hear there's police dash cam footage from Tennessee of this guy being pulled over and suspected of human trafficking. And it was only at the request of Joe Biden's FBI that they let him go in the first place. Here's that police dash cam footage.
How dark's the back windows? Window? Stand by. How dark are they?
The colors.
Yeah.
From Texas is good.
How many rows have you got in here? 4?
Where?
4 seats? 4 rows of seats?
Yeah, it's three seats. Yeah, with it. Yeah.
Did y'all put an extra one in?
Huh?
Did y'all put another one in?
No.
Did it come like this?
Use the truck.
I've never seen one with that many seats in it.
You hear me? What you say? It's my boss.
I said I've never seen one with that many
No
seats.
comprende.
Yeah. That's why I was asking if you put an extra one in.
Conveniently.
Yeah.
No, it's the same.
No inglés.
Like this.
Okay.
You know what you got, right? You know what you got here, right? He's hauling these people for money, is what he's doing. But sometimes they commingle dope.
No. But
There's 8 people in there.
yeah, I know. I didn't know that. They put an extra row of seats.
8 people.
Yeah. So he's getting paid to haul these people, probably to Maryland.
Trafficking
8 people he was trafficking.
in persons. Trafficking in persons. Yep.
You know all about that.
It's my life's work.
I mean, so case closed on that one.
Should have been arrested that day. Should have been investigated that day. But he had a friend in the White House. A friendly.
Poopy
right?
pants.
Poopy Pants said, come in, commit crime, traffic people, traffic fentanyl, have Americans die, all good.
Yeah.
And then that's an officer on the ground who then gets a order from who?
Joe Biden's FBI.
From the FBI. An officer on the ground identified, you know what you got here, right? He's hauling these people. An officer to an officer, identifying the situation accurately, not taking him into custody, getting a call from the FBI. Who's not on site, who's not on scene, who doesn't see the film on the windows, who doesn't see the extra row of seats, just magically knows that, no, he's good to go.
Yep. I mean, it's...
Come on.
I know. I know. It is such treasonous behavior that, and it really frustrates me that these people, I don't think are ever going to be held accountable. Like, Joe Biden should be charged with treason. Alejandro Mayorkas should be charged with treason. And I realize that people think that that's hyperbolic and they think that it's exaggerating, but it really isn't when you consider how much they did to make us less safe, and they just did it right in front of our eyes and boasted about it. And now it's like our mess to clean up, and they don't even... Oh, and by the way, instead of letting us clean it up, they're just working actively to try to not let us do it. And in regards to this guy, you've got his wife, who... All of the receipts are starting to come out about, we talked a couple of weeks ago about the police reports that show that she was really scared for her life. He was beating her. He was, bruising her. And I want to play just another receipt came out back from 2020. She was pleading for court protection from her lovable teddy bear MS-13 gang member husband, Garcia. Watch.
I came to fill out a protective order. I think it was in December. But I didn't show up to the court because his family washed my brain telling me that his dad was sick and not to do it. So I didn't do anything. But after that, it was I would call the police. I have a lot of police reports. And I kept trying to get to the door basement to try to open the door, and then he pushed me. So then when I was able to go outside to get a phone, I called 911 from a disconnected phone. Now they took a long time to get to the house. It was probably 20, 30 minutes. So I saw a neighbor walking his dog, and I opened the door and I was like, help. And then when he heard me, he grabbed me from my hair and then he slapped me. And then the neighbor, he didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to react. I have pictures of the evidence, all the bruises, because even on Wednesday, he hit me around 3 in the morning. He would just wake up and hit me. And then last Saturday for my daughter's birthday party, before I went to my daughter's birthday party, he slapped me 3 times. And then last week I did call the police. My sister called the police because he hit me in front of my sister.
If you can't trust a gang member to not be violent, who can you trust these days? If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.